Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here with an update on my WoW adventures. Today I'd like to talk with you guys about revisiting the World of Warcraft and how I've approached it and how I think if you do the same, that you should consider approaching it as well. So when I went back to WoW, the first thing I did was I tried leveling up a druid and I enjoyed that, but I spent a little bit of time after that revisiting some of my older classes, some of the characters that I used to play at max level. Well, I only did that briefly before I started to get that creeping feeling of, oh my gosh, not this again. I'm so familiar with this, I spent so much time with this, so many years in the past, and it started getting pretty boring pretty quick. But then it hit me, what am I doing? Why would I do this? I quit WoW for a reason, because I was starting to get bored of it. So coming back and trying to just revisit those same old things, it was bound to get me pretty bored again as well. And that's what started to happen. And then I just said, no, I'm not going to do this. Let me try something new. And that's when I decided to make a monk. And it's been really fun. Now, I'm not saying that if you're coming back to WoW that you can just play a monk, but I would say that if you make the decision to come back to this game, you should try doing something you haven't done before, and specifically something that you haven't spent a significant amount of time with in the past. So there are several classes that throughout the course of my WoW history I played at their respective max level. So vanilla max level, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. The max level, with all those expansions, there are specific classes that I'd already played. And when I came back to this game most recently over the course of the past week or two now, that stuff just, it got very boring very quick because I had spent so many years with it. So in making a new class, it's sort of been like reinvigorating, because you know, it is such an amazing game, but doing the same thing, no matter how great of a game is, if you do the same thing consistently day in and day out, year after year, it's going to get boring. And it did. It got boring to the point of me quitting. So coming back and trying something new has really been what's, I think, kept me interested. And I don't want people to perceive this wrong. I don't want people to say, oh, so he is really bored and he would stop playing if it wasn't for him playing the monk class. He's sticking through it just because of that. I don't feel that that's the case. I feel that, in the setting of this great game that I am so familiar with, having something fresh and having a new play style. So I'm playing a monk, I'm playing a brewmaster, it's the tanking style. I've done a lot of tanking in the past. I have done a lot of tanking in the past. Force, what do you mean by that? Well, in vanilla, I played a Night Elf Warrior tank, and I tanked, I start off with the basic stuff like Dire Maul and Lower Blackrock Spire, Upper Blackrock Spire. That eventually went to Strat and Skolomance, and eventually went into Molten Core, and then Blackwing Lair, and then came AQ 20 and 40, and then came Nax 40. So I did all that stuff. And then in Burning Crusade, I did not as much tanking, but I still did some endgame tanking. And then I went back into the hardcore raiding tanking in Wrath of the Lich King with a Paladin. I also spent some time in Wrath of the Lich King tanking with a Death Knight. So I have spent a pretty good chunk of time doing endgame tanking in the past, and doing tanking again isn't boring for me, at least not yet. I'm only level 40 right now. I've only been tanking these super easy face roll instances, but it's a new play style. It's something that I really haven't done in the past, and even beyond that. I spent a little bit of time with a hunter, and I was really enjoying that as well, because a hunter is a class, I think the most I ever got it to was like level 30 in the past. And so I spent some time playing Hunter, and I said, hey, you know what? I know what a Hunter does. I've known what a Hunter has done throughout my WoW career, but it was never anything that I actually spent much time playing, and so as such I enjoyed it. Specifically, I'm really having a fantastic time right now playing with the monk. It's a brand new play style. We've got a mix of resource systems, the energy system that you see on like the rogue and the druid, as well as this new chi system, which is, it's like a combo point system, but it's a combo point system that you build on your own character and spend on certain abilities. And then it also has mana as well in its healing spec, because the monk is a hybrid class, so there's a melee DPS, a tanking spec, as well as a healing spec that uses mana. But it's something new, it's something that I haven't played before, and for that reason it's something that has been very enjoyable. So that would be my suggestion to you. And I am bringing this up because I've seen a lot of people in my WoW videos over the past couple of weeks saying, oh man, like this is getting me interested in going back and replaying the game. And if that's a decision that you choose to make, then again, my suggestion would be do something that you have not done before. You know, I guarantee, you know, some of you will have these high-level characters, they've got all this great gear. It's so tempting to just pick up where you left off, but I would suggest just put that aside. Don't worry about that. None of that stuff matters anymore anyways, because you're going to replace all that gear and all that, everything you accumulated up until that point will be replaced very quickly once you start in the new content. So just try something new. Try something different, and I think you too could find it very enjoyable. That's been my experience so far, and I honestly, I don't think I can stomach playing any of the classes at a high level that I have in the past. So this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm currently enjoying. I'll give you guys some more updates. I'll let you know sort of how I'm progressing with this class and or the druid. We'll see which one I decide to stick with, but right now this is pretty good. I'm having a good time. Plus, I really love tanking. Primarily because I hate playing with bad tanks. And there's a lot of those. So, oh man, yep, you can't rely on people. You only rely on yourself to be super pro. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more updates to my WoW adventures, as well as great gaming coverage right here on the channel. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.
School is in session.